Hey, wanted to touch on some more about where we left off with our last video. So we're going to talk a little bit about being more for yourself, wanting more, and sometimes the guilt we feel around that. Because when we hear that, we want to be more, everybody thinks, oh, more is better. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you being the best version of you. And do you ever feel like maybe you have more to give, you have more to offer, and feel guilty about that sometimes, and talk about guilt. Can we talk about guilt for a second? Only because I can still smell the cleaning of my house because the cleaning people are here today, and it is the best money I spend. And yes, there are times I feel guilty because I work from home, but it's the reward from it is just far superior. So I gotta go with that guilt. Cleaning day is the best day ever and the best money I spend. I just have to throw that out there because I can smell it. So it just pops in my brain. But I want to talk to you guys about what it means to be more, what it means to want more, and really just to accomplish what it is you're capable of accomplishing. And I was thinking about what really gave me that first sense that I could accomplish things, because when we think about maybe our dreams when we were younger or something we wanted to be, and now we're in our day-to-day life and kind of on that autopilot, and we wouldn't even know where to start. Like, well, that's not even realistic. I wouldn't even know where to begin. So I was thinking about really what set me on that path of thinking I can achieve something, because all the way through this path, this journey, you always second guess it. Oh my gosh, can I do that? How am I going to do that? Whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And the first thing that happened was kind of bizarre, totally not work related at all. But I remember when I was pregnant with my third, I gained a ton of weight. She was huge. She was 9'3". So she was huge. I was huge. And I remember thinking the whole time I was pregnant, I just have this urge to run. I was like, is it going to be that bad having 3 kids? Am I like having these visions? I just need to run away from my crazy life. But I just had this urge to physically run, which was so strange because I had never run in my life. I would prefer to never run anywhere ever unless someone is chasing me with a knife. I just didn't have any desire to run until I was pregnant. I just kept thinking it was the hormones, because I also like sweets when I was pregnant, and I don't normally like sweets. So I figured, okay, I guess it can make you want to do other crazy things. So that was really I would just kind of blew it off, but it was persistent. And after I had her and several months later, it was still there. I was like, why do I want to run? I never was super into sports when I was younger. I love sports now, but I was never into them when I was younger. Where was this coming from? And my neighbor, who I was good friends and we would have coffee, she was starting to run. So one day I called her. I'm like, all right, can I just come over and run on your treadmill and see what I can do? And she's like, yes, come on over. She was not a big runner. I think she was up to like 2 miles. So I went over one day. She watched the kids. I went down to the treadmill. And it was the slowest mile you could probably ever imagine. I think it took me 15 minutes. Most people can walk a mile in 10 to 12. It took me 15 minutes. There were bathroom breaks in the middle of the mile. It was awful. I thought I was going to die. I was sweating profusely. My heart was thumping out of my chest like I had never done aerobic exercise in my entire life, which I really didn't do much of because I did not like the gym or any of that stuff. And I was just thought I was going to keel over and die right there on her floor. But I didn't. I made it through. 15 minutes later, I was like huffing and puffing and, barely moving. And I was like, I did it. I did it. And I went home. I called my husband. I was like, I just ran a mile. And he was like, you just ran 5 miles? I'm like, no, I ran 1 mile. It was not a huge accomplishment. But to me, it was a huge accomplishment. I felt like a warrior. I felt on top of the world. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I just ran a mile. I'm going to try and do 2. So the next day we go out to do 2. And we went on the road to do it. I couldn't do it. About a mile in, I was done. I was exhausted. I couldn't do it anymore. And I came home and I was so defeated. The feeling from the day before was gone. And I felt so, and I went out on my own the next day. I said, I can do this. I know I can do 2 miles. And I went out on my own and I did it. And from then on, I called her. I'm like, tomorrow we're doing 2.5. And then we would do 3. And I was like, this is crazy. I don't even like to run. But that feeling of accomplishment I was getting was driving me forward. And 9 months after that first day on that treadmill where I almost died, she and I ran a marathon together. And it was like, holy smokes. I remember when we decided to run a marathon, I think we were only up to like 4 or 5 miles. We were not near marathon ready, but I was like, okay, let's do it. I had no idea how we were going to do it, how we were going to accomplish it, how we were going to fit the time in. I had 3 kids now, she had 5. How were we going to fit the time in to train? How was my body even able to do that and my mind to be able to do that? And I didn't have any idea how. But it wasn't about the how. It was the belief that we knew we could get there. So that was kind of the mentality that I've had going forward with things. It doesn't, we get hung up on the how. How are we going to get there? How am I going to accomplish this? How am I going to go back and do something I've always wanted to do? Don't worry about the how. Right now it's about thinking that you can. And that's it. Just thinking that you can. And from there, we start to figure out how to take those little steps to start moving forward towards that. So I just wanted to share that because that was really, I think, the first thing that put me on that trajectory of believing I can achieve things that I have no idea or no way of knowing how I'm going to do it. So thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time.